Okay. And then, okay, another kind of chapter on overcoming the fear of judgment, because I feel like this is ultimately the only reason, the main reason people don't do this more and they don't succeed is because they are afraid of what people think of them. They're afraid of what people say when they really show up authentically. So, you know, there are other ways to think about it that might help you just experiment by being yourself. For example, imagine no one is going to see it. Imagine you have 0 followers. Imagine everyone on earth is gone and you're the only person and you're just making videos for shits and gigs. You're just having fun. You're just LARPing as an influencer, right? Like no one is going to judge you because there's no one there, but you're just making a video because it's fun, because like, I don't know, you just have some ideas and you want to express it, right? Sometimes you want to journal the ideas. Sometimes you just want to talk out loud, but it's like, well, now you're talking out loud and there's a camera there just for the sake of therapeutic expression, right? Just to get it off your chest, right? Imagine you're just doing that. There is no pressure to perform. There's no one going to see it. No one's going to judge you. Only you're going to see it. How can you just show up in a way that feels good for you and you would enjoy? Like imagine you're going to watch back the video and you want to see how crazy and how, you know, like if you could have the ideal, person you follow and they can express in a way that you would feel is the most refreshing or the most interesting or alive, right? How would that person express themselves? Be that version of you. Do that. Talk like a crazy person who hasn't interacted with humanity in years. Yes. Break all the rules. Be a crazy drunk poet. Channel the weirdest version of yourself is this post that talks about it. I think is really cool. And yeah, okay. And every time you do that, where you genuinely talk from your heart and you're authentic, and you realize people like you for it, and they are gonna like you for it, you build confidence. You build that much more confidence every single time. And in the beginning, it's gonna be really scary. You know, like, for example, in the past, when I was really unhinged and I shared something, and the way I was communicating, I was like, holy fuck, oh my God, this is too much. And I wouldn't look at the comments for like 3 days because I'm afraid of what people will say. Every time I eventually did look at the comments and I faced the music, 90% positive. Oh my God, I love how raw you are. Oh my God, I love the way you talk. I love the way you swear. I love the way you blah, 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 right? They love the raw, just messiness and the truth of your energy, right? You don't have to be crazy like me. Your rawness could be much more calm and chill, right? And soft-spoken, right? Whatever it is true for you, as long as you show up in a way where it's not like, oh, I have to be X, Y, and Z because I'm not enough or something. Like you just show up genuinely as you. Be as loud as you want to. Like don't try to be softer because you feel like you're too much, right? But also don't try to be louder because you feel like you're too little. Just be the authentic, natural, like you. And every time you do that, people are gonna love you. And every time you see that, you get more and more confident and knowing and feeling for truth. You know, there's evidence that not only is it okay for you to be yourself, but it's actually celebrated. It's more okay. We want that more than anything, than in any other version of you. And eventually you will overcome this fear of judgment because you know without a doubt that who you really are is enough and celebrated and loved. And of course, people are going to call you cringy. You will have haters, of course, but that's always going to be in a minority. And the trick is to just focus on the people that do love you. Because the people that do comment and they say stupid shit, it's like, again, they're kind of losery scrubs in their own way. So you don't need to pay attention to that. Yeah, it's like exactly the moments where you feel the most vulnerable and naked. That's exactly where your magic and your heart and your truth lies, you know? But you have to like be brave enough to show up with that full vulnerability for you to overcome the fear, right? It's like it's exposure therapy, right? You have to put yourself in the environment where your fears are most magnified. And then when you realize that the fears, that the outcome that you're afraid of doesn't exist, or it's a completely positive outcome, then the fear eventually evaporates. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, Aurora says like singing on stage for her feels so vulnerable that it feels like she's taking a shit in front of everyone, right? But her shit is so good. I fucking love Aurora. She's one of my favorite human beings on the planet, you know? And same with actors. Like the more vulnerable they are, the better the performance. The more the more real the performance is. but you're not performing on stage or doing some fucking Christopher Nolan film, right? Yet, perhaps. You're just making a little reel. So I think at the very least, you can try and just show up just to experiment as you, just to see what it feels like to really put yourself out there and be real. Like, and it's such a breathtaking, amazing, like, sound barrier, sonic boom penetrating process where it's like, you really penetrate through the other side of fear, and you reach this level of liberation that you never knew existed, that you never knew there was this wall, the ceiling of fear that you were always like collapsing under because you're too afraid to show up fully as you. But when you really break through, it's like literally feels like you're breaking out of the matrix and coming back to your true self. Yeah, and I also wrote, it's like maybe you start making content and you already have like, 1,000, couple thousand followers, right? And maybe you already have a certain style where your videos or your content is. And if you start doing this kind of videos where maybe it's different, it's very real, and you're just talking to the camera, that might break the image that your current followers have of you because it's kind of different to your aesthetic. And some of them might actually unfollow you because you're no longer what they're expecting. And that's okay. That needs to happen. You have to not be afraid of that happening. Like every time you change as a person, your content is going to reflect that if you're being real, right? Because your content reflects you. It's just a reflection of you. And then the people that no longer can keep up with you, they will naturally fall off. But the good thing is every time you level up, some people will fall off, but then new people that are more aligned to who you actually are, the people that will actually really fuck with you, like your soul tribe kind of people, they will also come in that new level. And you might go through this cycle many times where it's like, right now you're here, you make this kind of content, right? You up level, you gain new followers, you lose old followers. Then again, you reinvent yourself, you evolve, you transform, right? Then boom, you lose some old followers, you gain new followers. And every single time you go through the cycle, that's going to happen. And you must let that happen. You mustn't be afraid to change when you have changed because you're trying to hold on to the old people and you're trying to appease the older versions of you and your followers. Like, holy fuck, dude. Oh my god, it's so hard to talk when you have constantly these mosquitoes around you. If you keep going through this process, eventually you'll just get to like dream levels of followers and community where maybe there were people that you once looked up to. You're like, oh my god, I wish I could be in the same league as them and be their friends. Like, yeah, you're gonna eventually get there if you keep going through this transformational process, but you'll never be able to kind of go through the spiral unless you're willing to let go of the past, to let go of the old version of you, the old aesthetic, the old way of doing things, and the old followers that will no longer be able to keep up with you in your new version, right? You have to be willing to shed the old skin and grow anew and die and rebirth and go through this phoenix process over and over. But a lot of people I've noticed, they're too afraid of doing that because they already have this aesthetic they've built and they know their followers expect the same way. But then it's like, well, are you making content for to appease your followers, or are you making it to fucking send God into this world, right? Like, right? It's like, are you just appeasing your followers out of your own vanity because you don't want to disappoint them, so you don't feel bad about disappointing them, or you lose engagement or whatever from it? It's like, how much of it is about your ego, and how much of it is actually the truth of wanting to come through you. Oh, and this is also where trial reels are really good, because trial reels would literally just bring you in new followers. Like, yeah, especially if you only have a couple of thousand, it's like just treat that as like the first stage, the first phase of your experimental journey of your grand rising, basically, to your levels of impact into this world, right? But if you're so fixated on a couple, like, let's say eventually your ultimate level is like a couple of million followers, right? Where you're really doing your thing, you're shining your light, and you're really helping people. But if you're so fixated on just curating yourself to just a couple of thousand followers, and you don't let yourself evolve to the million follower version, then, what a shame, right?